G'day, welcome to Country Music World. I'm Mick.
And I'm Jay.
Today we're going to take you down to sunny Victoria and talk to a guy that's not a very good diesel mechanic.
He's got a great sound. It's like a mix of old rock and roll with new wave of country, and he throws it all together and it just comes out sounding so fresh.
Yeah, it sure does, Jay. Head over to countrymusicworld.com.au, share and like all the videos around, sit down and relax, and let's get to know a little bit more about Danny Stain.
It's so gone on too long. It's time my life was my own. Working way too hard all my life. Working way too hard, paying the bills on time. Trucking man.
All right, Jay, so we're going to cut across to Danny, who we've got down in home, and I think a little birdie sat on my shoulder and told me that Danny took the day off work today for this. So
He did.
that's we're pretty impressed with that. We got you on, Danny.
Yeah. Hang on, Danny.
Hi guys.
How you going,
Hi
mate?
Sarah on there.
Welcome
It is
to-
true.
It is.
I may be home today.
That's
He's got something wrong with his eyes, mate.
it's not a bad excuse, is it? Getting a Monday off to do an
Yeah.
interview. That's a long weekend right there.
Something
Yeah,
wrong with his
that's
eyes.
right.
Huh?
Couldn't see himself going to work today.
I'm hearing you.
That
Hey,
was almost a
hey,
Stewie French joke.
that was a terrible
I'm
joke.
working overtime for the rest of the week to make up for it anyway.
Oh, I like that. Now that's a perfect way to start this. Now the video we just had a look at coming into this, mate, was your current single and your current film clip out, which is working overtime. So, mate, tell us about it. So, where did you record it? Who did the film clip? Tell us everything about your music. What's going on with Danny Stain?
Yeah, well, I guess the album's sort of been a few years in the making. I feel like the first one's taken 10 years to make and write, and the next one's probably going to take about 2 months. Things sort of all started coming together when I caught up with an old friend of mine, Warren Keats, who's down in Melbourne, and he's sort of got a pretty famous country music lineage in his family. And we hooked up for about a year ago, and we recorded it at his studio. The film clip me and a friend did with one camera, believe it or not. Just took our time, did, multiple takes. An old school friend, Joseph Taranto. You can look him up. He's Joseph Taranto Ultimate Drumming Community. Just plug that one in there for him. And he does a lot of sessions for people. He's got a studio in Atwood. And yeah, we just took our time. We went out to a mechanic shop in, I think it was like the northern suburbs. Where me and sort of Joe work with his dad sometimes, doing some stuff on cars out there. So, and yeah, we just spent the Sunday and wrote a bit of a script, we're all sort of, secret closet actors, so we sort of just went in there and had a crack at it.
Are you a bit of a grease monkey, mate? Do you get yourself under the bonnet of a car every now and then?
Look, to be honest, it's sort of, a new hobby of mine. Like, I'm not going to claim to be a mechanic, redhead, but I certainly reckon in the next few years I've got to turn into one. It's sort of my girlfriend's dad is really into cars and sort of got the bug at the moment, to be honest. So yeah.
Now you're a bit handy on the guitar, Danny. You go okay on the guitar yourself, mate?
I go all right.
You go all right.
Yeah.
Did you play the
Yeah,
guitar on
all
your own tracks, or did you get session guys in for that?
Yeah, that's just two people on that album. Believe it or not, the whole album. Me and Warren did pretty much everything. He played drums and bass, and we did all the harmonies and guitars and keyboards and all that kind of stuff ourselves. So yeah, we just hearing two guys on the whole album, actually, believe it or not.
Well, it's a world we live in now, isn't it?
It is, mate. Yeah, no, that's...
you can do an entire album with two people, and you can do an entire film clip with one camera and two mates.
That's it.
And that's they're both good. I mean, the quality of the music's great. The quality of the clip
Sounds real good.
looks great. I like the cars you're sitting on. They look cool. I think your overalls are a little bit too clean, but
I'll let this one. I have to roll around in the dirt just to give me a bit more credit,
Now, what do we got? So, working overtime is the current song. What do you got for us next, mate? What's
Sure.
we got new stuff
Next
coming
week? Yeah, definitely. Next week, new song coming out, new single. It's called The Dust of Another Day. It's sort of my tribute to sort of the farmers out there and anyone who's sort of doing it a little bit tough. I lived out sort of in the country for a couple of years, and sort of, you know, I'm not an original farm boy or a country boy, but I have lived out there for a bit and experienced what people go through. So that should be coming out next week. You can buy it on iTunes and buy it off my web store, dannystain.com. And then in November, we've got the album coming out, which I'm really excited about.
Okay, tell us about the album. How many songs on the album?
Yep, it's a 10-song album. It's called In Another Time. I guess kind of a bit of an old soul. You know, I just, growing up, just loved anything from 1940 to maybe 1970. Obviously a big country fan, but I love, you know, stuff that kind of came from country too, like the Roy Orbisons and the Elvises, who sort of have a country line about them.
Yeah.
So there's a good mixture, I think. People like it, yeah.
As a guitar player, I mean, you know, do you like Carl Perkins? I mean, I can hear, I don't know why I say that, but I can hear influence of Carl Perkins in your playing, and, you know, I mean, is it fair to, I don't want to pigeonhole you, but you're a rockabilly fan, right? So you're Elvis,
Yeah.
that's your vibe, right? So you like that rockabilly. Do you have upright bass in your live band?
No, upright bass. Helen Stewart, who's a sort of a classic bass player around town. She's been around for ages. She plays, she's an electric bass player.
Yeah.
Yeah, look, I did Johnny Cash in theatre show for a while. You know, that kind of, you know, rockabilly country thing is, you know, a big influence. But look, in saying that, I'm the biggest George Jones fan in history, you know, so I'm a real country guy too. So,
Nice.
yeah, just everything, mate. I love all the session players off the album, Elvis recording back in the day, and all those hot Hank Garland guitar players and Scotty Moore and all the classic kind of guys. So, yeah, Carl Perkins is definitely one of them.
I don't think anyone's going to sort of roll their eyes at saying you love rockabilly, because rockabilly it's been around our game forever, and it's cool, you know. And it's the thing I like about rockabilly people is, or the specific, if you get into that sort of vein of rockabilly, it's really, as you say, it's really, really country, but it's, people can naturally dance to it, you know, and it's, I don't know, for me, I wish there was more rockabilly out there. I love rockabilly, you know, I really do like that influence.
A big thing for us on the album is I grew up listening to 50s and 60s rock and roll bands as well as country, and then, you know, I sort of like people to be able to get into it and groove along, and that's that thing you're talking about, the rockabilly bands have, you know, they have something danceable and movable. So, yeah, definitely try to get a bit of that, you know, into things. And even bands like the Mavericks and stuff, you know, who, not rockabilly, but they have that whole other kind of Spanish danceable thing going on in country, which I kind of like as well. So you'll hear a bit of that on the album as well.
So tell us, I mean, you just touched on your bass player there. Tell us about the rest of the cats in your band, mate. So you're pretty proud of your band?
Oh, big time, yeah. Well, when I was a young fella, I was about 15, started playing in country bands, playing guitar and stuff. You know, go to school Monday, you know, absolutely so tired after a bunch of gigs. And I played with all these great players as a kid, you know, and probably got to about 20, sort of got out of country for a little bit, did a few other things. And when I started, you know, working on the album, all these great players that I played with 10 years ago just sort of started coming back and popping into my life. And Helen Stewart's one of them, Warren's another one. And you know, they're so busy, these guys. They're playing with everyone. Helen especially, she's playing with, you know, all the guys, Billy Bridge and all those guys. And I said, oh, so Helen, you know, what do you think? You know, and she's like, yeah, let's do it. So she breaks her back to try and make some time for me. So I'm very proud of him and very happy to have him in the band.
Nice.
Oh, so Danny, besides yourself, who would you say who are you listening to in Australian country music? Who's happening, do you reckon? Or who's the artist to watch in Australian country music?
Look, there's just so many great Melbourne bands that I go and see. There's heaps of them. There's this, you know, a guy that I really like, Lachlan Bryan.
Oh yeah.
He's a guy who's down here, and he's got a great band, great live band. So he would be my pick at the moment. He's killer.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we're going to talk to Lachlan in the not too
Yeah,
fantastic.
distant future.
he's probably what you'd call alt country, I guess, in Australia.
Yeah.
Alternative country. Yeah. But yeah,
Yeah,
fantastic, mate.
I'm a big Waylon Jennings fan, and he's, I think, which is really cool.
Yeah, oh, well, Waylon, I mean, everyone loves Waylon. Now,
He's a
I think
legend, mate.
it's time we throw Danny some curveballs, mate.
All right.
You ready, Danny? Are you
Red,
prepared, mate, to take the Country Music World Challenge? I think it's that time,
It
Jay.
is.
You keen?
I'm in.
So it's
He's got his serious
he's
face
pretty
on
confident.
there, he's ready.
He just kind of stared straight at us and went, "Bring it on!" Now, now the stakes are pretty high in this game. We haven't exactly worked out our scoring system, but at the end of this, Jay is going to give you a score. I don't really think it means anything. Well, I'm pretty certain it doesn't mean anything, but
It didn't
we'll
last
give
week.
you one anyway. So
I feel like I got Red Simons over there about to give me the gong or
yeah,
something.
exactly. Now it's pretty. The rules are pretty simple, mate. We're just going to give you 2 words, and you got to tell us which one you prefer. And
Alright.
and I don't know, Jay. If we don't like the answer, do we just get a CD out of him or something?
I reckon.
Yeah, we'll fleece him anyway at some point.
That's right.
So you ready there, Mr. Scorer? Are you ready?
I've got the official big.
All right.
Go.
Here we go, Danny. Welcome to the Country Music World Challenge. Ford or Holden?
Forward.
Garth or Merle?
Merle.
Blondes or brunettes?
Brunettes.
Brunettes. You had to think about that.
Oh, my girlfriend's blonde.
Oh, yeah.
Well.
You're in trouble. We can edit that bit out.
No, I think we're going to just let it run. Now, we're gonna ask you a question here about toilet paper, mate. Are you a scruncher or a folder?
Older.
You're a folder?
Oh,
Okay. So we know he saves money. That's, we know.
Unless I'm using a gum leaf or something.
You don't want to fold a gum leaf. That's exactly right. Now, movies, horror or comedy?
Comedy.
Comedy. Okay. So, beer or spirits?
Spirits.
Boobs or butts?
Boobs.
There you go. There's
Okay, I like that. I like this one.
not many
Can
people.
you have both in that one?
Well, you can. I mean,
Yeah.
it's up to you. We're going to take a CD
Yeah,
from
like,
you.
I mean, no, that's a hard one,
That's it.
yeah.
All the
beer
other
and spirits.
questions are worth 1 point. That one's worth a
Unless
million.
you want to change that answer, I'd say beer, actually.
Yeah, see, I'm with you. Like, I love drinking rum, but I can't if I haven't had a few beers.
That's right.
Nothing like a breakfast beer. All right, so we've got one more for you. Tattoos or piercings?
Tattoos.
You like tattoos?
Oh, go the tats.
Good. All right. Well, Danny, I mean, we've got like 150 different questions there. I think you did pretty good.
There we go.
You did all right. What's your score, Jay? It's costing him a CD anyway, so we're going to give away one of your CDs, Danny.
Yeah, it's good.
That's the best part about it, isn't it? We just give stuff away. How cool is that? Now,
Fantastic.
mate, so what are your goals, Danny? What do you plan to do? You seem like a pretty focused sort of young guy.
Sure.
What are you thinking about in the next 5 years? What do you got that you'd like to be able to tick off one by one, mate?
Look, obviously, career-wise, I'd love to be headlining some festivals. But my, personal goal is to sort of, keep country music alive and keep people interested in it, and also introduce it to people who may not be into country music is a big one. We book a lot of gigs down here in Melbourne at really non-country music venues. And I don't want to convert them, but I just want to make people aware of it because I think they'll really enjoy it. I think there's heaps of people who would enjoy country music and they may, not have had a look at it because of whatever reason. So I just really want to spread the country music thing around and get people into it.
How do you go when you book these gigs that are particularly country venues? Do they warm to you pretty quickly, or?
That's the biggest thing. People absolutely love it, and sometimes they don't even know they're listening to country because there's they're stories, they're story songs, and they're full of emotion and experiences. So people, when they see it live, they're just connecting with that, as soon as they might hear something on the radio with some banjo or some fiddling, before they've even heard the song, they kind of get turned off.
Yeah.
So the gig's going fantastic. Heaps of people who I don't think have a country music shelf of records at home are really digging it. So I think we just need to keep going, to be honest.
Do you think the current music, mate, and I'm talking about Keith Urban, he's a good one at the moment because, obviously you would know old school Keith Urban to what we have now with Ripcord, the current album that he's touring around the world with.
Yeah.
Do you personally, and no answer is incorrect here, but do you personally, and there's another question following on for this one, do you like what he's doing now, or would you prefer 15, 20 years ago Keith Urban? What's your spin on it?
I'm happy as long as people are doing what they want to do and they're saying what they want to say. In other words, if that's what Keith, truly feels is how he should sound at the moment, then I think we can appreciate the modern country stuff. You can't help but believe, though, that sometimes the sound is maybe being dictated by, other sources, it's sounding a particular way because, that's the trend or that's the style or, I make music because, I have a particular thing to say and I want to express it with a particular sound. If I had to alter that in any way, I think, it would be much harder to get my message across.
That's a great way to answer that
I
question.
think that's a fantastic answer.
Yeah, it is. Now, just going on that one again, mate, do you find, look, there's big arguments happening at the moment. Well, not arguments, but I think there's more frustration because people aren't sure. And it goes back to where you were talking about playing in the crowd. These people don't even know they're having a good time with country songs, so they're not sure. But do you find, or do you think now, in your opinion, that the new artists that are coming through are hearing Keith Urban record on the radio, which is a long way from what we know as country music, definitely a long way from that. I'm not saying I don't like it, I love it, I actually think it's great.
It's great music.
I'm not saying anything like that, but a few of our older artists that have been in this game for 30, 40, 50 years are getting pretty frustrated here that their music is gone. You mentioned there once, but I got to word this very carefully because I don't want to get anyone in hot water, and I definitely won't do that. We're not getting played on radio, commercial radio, but Keith Urban is. He's getting 6 or 7 spins every day on every major radio station around the planet. So do you think there's a new group of young kids coming through now saying, just by default, that they have to start here because that is what is going to become our commercial country right now?
I think it depends on what your goals are. If your goal is to be a famous superstar and have a product that appeals to everyone, I guess maybe you might have to do that. If you're writing music from a place of passion, I don't try to sound any way. I just be me, and I think everybody should probably just do what they feel is gonna have the substance that they want it to have. I don't think you should be shooting for a sound or doing this just because the thing is, all the famous genres of music have broken molds. So if you're trying to sound like something, like I can only do my songs my way. I can only speak about myself. My songs my way with my sound. If that appeals to people or not, you can't, try and guess what's going to be a hit or guess what's going to be a sound that people are going to, you know what I mean? Like it's, you can't try and predict what's going to, so I think if you just do what you do and then people are into it, well then you're going to be happy either way it goes.
Look, I think I still hear the old Keith in his new music, but it's just been, he's just got he's modernised it, but I still hear Keith in that. Yeah.
You have to understand too, we all have different sides to us. I've played in rock bands, for years.
Yeah.
And I've played in country bands and jazz bands, and I think it's very hard to, pin people down to one thing. Look, I love rocking out sometimes too, and I've been in a top 40s cover band playing Lady Gaga covers, So,
have you got any footage? I want to see that.
I'm quite happy doing different things, and that might just be one side of Keith that he's sort of letting out at the moment.
Yeah.
And I'm sure if we have a real old country bluegrass side, and he's probably got another pop side, and we're multifaceted. We're not just one thing. So I think we're just seeing a particular side of him at the moment. That's all.
He's everything I know about
cool.
Keith. Yeah, he's a very, very musical guy. So I'm, following what was the album before Ripcord? Whatever it was, it kind of made sense to me that Ripcord was Ripcord, following the last album. The way that his music is doing what it's doing, I wasn't that surprised. It's a little further than I thought it would be in one step, but it's like, it's cool. But the thing is, and we're going to go back to what you're talking about here before, be honest to yourself and sing your music your way. And you can still tell with musos, and you would know this being a musician too, that you still see someone enjoying their moments. And I don't see any moment where he's not in the best position he's in. And, and I've seen him tour in the last couple of years, and, next time he comes here, I'll go and watch him again, because, again, for me, you get to see the ultimate muso standing on the big stage, and it always sounds crazy good.
Yeah, musicians, we're music lovers.
Yeah.
So I don't, I love country music. I absolutely, it's my number one passion. But I like all music, and I'm sure Keith does as well, and I'm sure there's heaps of artists out there, even though they may be doing this one thing at the moment. We've got a big love and appreciation for all kind of styles, so it doesn't mean we're knocking another style. I can't knock, I love all music, and I'm sure he does too, so...
I like something you said just before, Danny, and it led me, it depends on what your definition of success is inside the music industry.
Yes.
One might look at Keith and say, wow, that's success, but in this day and age, if you can make a living playing music, that's success. Because not many people can actually even get to that level. So, I think the kids coming through have really got to watch what their attitude is to what they're doing. So, and I think you were leaning towards that just before.
Yeah, look, I would be quite happy to, I would love to, get a great deal, with a big company and put out something. And if they wanted me to put out something that was different to what I was doing, and I enjoyed doing it, we don't just have to do one thing. We can do many things. I'd be all for it.
Yeah. Well, look, at the end of the day, and again, you touched on that before, that there is higher powers above, and these are right inside your record label people, and they're smart people too. You got to understand, for Keith to do Ripcord, and we'll talk about that one, and we are a lot in this interview, but it's so, from the start to the last album to this one, they're big steps. They're really big, bold steps, and you're talking about people that will break the mould of the genre. He's pretty much doing that. 20 years ago, Garth did it. Garth Brooks come out and started smashing guitars and flying across ropes across top of people, and everyone went, wow, this is crazy. But it is now led to what's happening again now, and it's just another version of what's going on.
All right, Danny, so if people are wanting to follow your journey, your musical journey, mate, where can they find you out there in cyberspace, and where can they find where you're playing as well?
Sure. The easiest way, DannyStaney.com.
Yep.
And, hit me up on Facebook, anyone who's out there. I'd love to have some more fans and say hello, and I'd love to get to know all you people out there who, country music fans, and even if you're a new country fan, send me a message on Facebook or something like that, and I'd just love to hear from people, I'd like people to say hello, and I'm all for it.
Well, mate, we're going to make sure your links are down below so people can just go on and click through and they'll find you, and we hope they do.
Yeah.
Jay, I think if people are wanting to enjoy, a good young entertainer with a nice band and a guy that actually sits and respects the music, I think that's a cool thing.
Absolutely.
Come along and put your dancing shoes on. They're probably going to have a good night seeing Denny. And now you're not heading into Tamworth, mate, currently, are you? So we might make some phone calls, eh? We might see if we can change that.
See if we can arrange something.
Or something like that. But we're going to see if we can get Denny up into Tamworth.
It's a long way to go for lunch, Mick.
It is. We'll buy it. It's fine.
We'll have a beer as well.
And look, we highly encourage people to support Denny and his music because it's really, really good. It's got great energy about it. It's good on the ears, and it's a bit old school mixing the new school stuff. And we're going to get you a dirty set of overalls for your next film clip. And all right, so you're going to put a bit more grease on you. And but mate, we're gonna really follow what you do, and you have our support here at Country Music World. You're a good guy, Denny. It's been a pleasure talking to you. And mate, we're gonna keep an eye on you. Good luck with your single that comes out next week. And make sure you send that through to us, and we'll put it up on our page, mate, and we'll give it a bit of a kickstart for you as well.
Yeah.
And failing that, Denny, thanks. So you get to go and have some soup and lay down and watch some TV now because you've got your day off, which is awesome. And mate, we're going to keep in contact with you. But Denny, on behalf of Jay and myself, man, we wish you all the best in your future. And good luck. Thanks a lot, man.
Thanks, Danny.
Thanks very much. Thanks, guys. And thanks, everyone, for watching. See you soon.
See you, mate.
Cheers, mate.
Did you like that interview and want to see some more just like it? Then check them out right there.
We've got artist interviews. We check out the festivals that are happening in your area.
We'll have a look at the country music birthdays, and then we'll dive back into the history of Australian country music.
We've got the CMW Country Artist of the Week chart as voted by you, and we also have heaps of weekly prize giveaways.
So give us a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, because together we can make a difference in the country music world.